Hello, it's Mama here. Today we're going to be making a tie front midi dress, but before we get started with that, I wanted to let you know that I started a blog. It is called Her Petite Closet and you are actually the inspiration behind it. I felt that I wasn't sharing enough information through the video tutorials. To put it into perspective, this tutorial has about 2 hours of footage, but what you're about to see is only 6 minutes of it. So as you can imagine, there is a massive chunk of the process that is not included. On the blog, each tutorial is going to have additional information such as tips and tricks and details to hopefully make each step easier to understand and to follow. I also have a place on there where you can actually submit requests and also vote for the next project. So when you get a chance, do head on over there, subscribe to the email newsletter so that I can let you know what's coming up next. Speaking of which, we are getting really close to hitting 10,000 subscribers. When I first started this channel, it was a creative outlet. I never expected it to reach even 5,000 of you. So to know that my videos are reaching so many of you, that they're helping so many of you, that is an incredibly humbling feeling. And to celebrate, I want to host a giveaway, but I haven't decided what the prize is going to be yet. So I need you to let me know which one to win down in the comments below. And with that, let's go ahead and get started with the DIY. I hope you guys enjoy, and I will see you in a little bit.
The front bodice is a tank top with a horizontal band at the center front for the bow tie. Trace out half of the tank top and clean up the curves and lines. At the bottom of the center front, draw an arch that is 1.5 inches wide by 3 inches tall. Blend this arch and the neckline into the horizontal bow tie. Add 1/2 inch seam allowance before cutting out 2 pieces for the bodice and 2 for the lining. I modified the neckline into a sweetheart shape and tapered out the bow tie into a point. Next, create an A-line skirt. With the fabric folded into quarters, take a rectangle and spread it out to create an A-line shape. The waist needs to be wide enough to fit over the hips, so I used 2 pages. At various points along the waist, measure down and mark the desired length. By doing this, you can achieve the A-line shape without a full-blown pattern. Cut out 2 pieces. The shoulder straps are 1/2 inch with seam allowance all around, and I accidentally deleted the footage for the back bodice and waistband, but the back is basically a trace out of the tank top and the waistband is 3 inches wide. Add seam allowance and cut out 1 of each pattern. Fold the shoulder straps in half and sew. Trim down the seam allowance and turn it right side out. Top stitch to keep it flat. Place the shoulder strap in between the top layer and the lining. Sew along the top, bow tie, and center front. Snip into the seam allowance to add a little bit of ease all around and remove the tip of the bow tie. Open up the bodice and fold the seam allowance onto the lining. Top stitch close to the seam. The bow tie is quite narrow, so you won't be able to top stitch along the entire bow tie, but go in as far as you can. This will allow the front to hang nicely like so. Attach the front to the back. Notice that the top of the back is not yet finished. With the seam allowance flipped onto the back, fold the raw edge over twice to cover the seam allowance and top stitch. Also hem the bottom of the bodice. Take 2 small rectangles and prepare it just like the shoulder straps. Loop it through the O-ring and attach it to the back of the bodice. Finish assembling the shoulder strap by passing the long part of the strap through the slide, through the O-ring, and through the slide again. Secure the end. Attach the front skirt to the back at the sides. Sew the ends of the waistband together. I only have one seam, so I'm going to position it at the center back. Fold the waistband in half and attach it to the skirt. Leave an opening for the elastic. Thread an elastic through the waistband and secure the ends together. Close the opening and distribute the elastic evenly along the waist. Line up the side seams and pin the waistband directly on top of the bodice. On the front, gauge how wide of a cutout you want and distribute the elastic waist accordingly. The more elasticity there is at the center, the smaller the cutout will be when the dress is worn. Secure with a zigzag stitch. Hem the skirt by folding under twice, and your project is now complete. For this look, I wanted the focus to be on the dress, so I kept everything minimal, from the earring to the necklace to the shoes.
Alright guys, so that is it for this tutorial. I hope you enjoy. As always, if you recreate these, send them over to me, share them with me by tagging me on Instagram or even emailing them over to me so that I can see how you interpreted the tutorials. If you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss the next video, and I will see you next time. Bye!